Hello folks, this is Audiotron 1003 and today I thought to do another video on my crystal collection. These are all potassium ferric cyanide crystals that I've grown round about in 1992, so they're quite old. They're very toxic. When I grew these, I had to be really careful because apparently I was told by the director of the printing factory where I worked that this stuff was capable of killing someone. In terms of if you ate this stuff or drank the solution, well, I wasn't going to do that, and many years later I'm still alive. So what I've had to do is to stop myself from having to keep washing my hands. You'll find that they're shining with gloss varnish. They're very thickly varnished. I don't really get them out very often. They're normally in a little box out the way. The reason why I have them in the first place is I used to work for a printing factory, and they used to use potassium ferric cyanide for etching printing plates, and they had another chemical which is sodium thiosulfate for washing this particular chemical off the plates. So it was kind of an antidote. Now, how I used to grow these crystals was I would get the caps out of vending machine drinks refills, and there would be about a couple of centimeters deep. I'd fill them with solution, and I'd put them on a little shelf at the bottom of a bench near the printing press, and the printing presses what would it be, air compressor would blow out hot air, and that would evaporate the solution, and the tiny crystals would grow. And that's how pretty much all of these were grown, although as they got bigger I had a tendency to suspend them somehow in a solution in a small jar and continue the process, and the chemical would stain my fingertips yellow, so I'd look like a heavy smoker. Then I'd have to wash my hands with soap laced with some of this this sodium thiosulfate to clean off my hands and make them safe. So that's how I grew them, and that's how I got the chemical in the first place. So what I'm going to do is, because even with this white piece of paper behind them and all this bright light that I'm using, it's very hard to tell what colour they're supposed to be. They're a very kind of deep red. So what I'm going to do is put the light out, or lights because I've got two on, and this is my trusty Lego torch. It's been sitting on a shelf for a while. It's got little bits of dust, but it works. I'm going to see if I can show you. So I'm going to focus. There we go. So they are a kind of a deep red. I can't do this so much with the bigger ones because they're too thick, and they tend to grow in one of two ways. Either like these needles, so there you go, they either grow like these needles, when you tap them together. Let's put my lights back on. So when you tap these things together, they sound like little shards of glass, or they have a tendency to grow like this, which is kind of like a tablet, very tabular in structure, and you might notice little lines. There might be one there, for example, because what I did was, when I was varnishing these things, I used cotton, and I made a little rig, a bit like a tiny grill pan, if you like, and I use the cotton to suspend the crystals above it so they could dry, and then when they were sort of tacky I would then turn them. So if you see any little lines, that's what they are. I haven't really got a ruler with me, but let's see now. What can I use? This will do. Okay, so this is a Lego 1x8 plate, so 3 centimeters, 6 centimeters, so it should be about 6 centimeters long. So if I put that one along there, that is roughly about, let's see, 4, I get this right, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's about 4 centimeters long. Okay, this one is obviously smaller, so I'd say that's about 2.5 to 3. What else can I say about them? A couple of them I tried to grow as big as I possibly could, and then if you suspend them like I have here, and what I'm looking for is here, there's a little bump just there, not this one but that one there, and what that is that's the cotton. I cut it as close as I could at the time, and then I thickly varnished it, and that bump there is the end of the cotton, and basically they started to fatten out. Now I wished at the time, well of course at the time I was rather impatient, but I wished that I'd let this grow out as big as possible to see if I could find out just what the true shape of this should have been. I suspect this would have eventually filled out, and the same at that end, but I didn't, because I didn't have access to the chemical as much, and also I didn't have the containers or the ability to grow them. So once I left the factory job, this all had to stop. So the other reason why I grew these crystals was because I was always fascinated with red, and I always wanted red crystals for my collection, and that's why I tried to grow potassium ferric cyanide. So anyway, this is just a few of them. I have some others in a little plastic box which are mounted on blue tack, but I just thought I would share this, since I've shown some of you in the past other crystals that I've grown, or in the case of my rubies, what I've been buying. I thought I would continue this small series and show you something else that I used to grow. So anyway, enough waffling. Thanks for watching. Bye.